Jimmy Ricard to the lovely one on the inside. Tycoon Star on the 150 in front. Jimmy Ricard trying to catch the big son of Kurt. It's going to be a big finish. Tycoon Star and Jimmy Ricard. Jimmy lifting. Jimmy Ricard.
Welcome to Bet Doctor Behind the Curtain. Look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot, and I'm in studio with John Walter. Big Red.
Big red, big wet, big everything, big rain, big everywhere. What, Jesus Christ, it's got to stop. It's getting ridiculous.
It's fog and rain here at Gold Coast, and Sydney's underwater. Say it every week. Not going to say it again. Ladbrokes and Punting Form are the proud sponsors of Bet Doctor, and we've got Shane Adair in the background. He's shooting very straight. Our 5-0. He's 5-0, and now he's on the show.
Hello, team. Nice to be back. 9 winners to be found at the parks, winter fields. What couldn't we love about life at the moment? Fantastic stuff.
Mate, don't try and make out you go past race 3.
I just love I just love how Bagman's come on the show, and he's got the Prison Bar Port Adelaide colours just to distance himself from the Crows crisis. So, mate, you're very transparent. So there's not much that gets past me. Now, speaking of,
don't start with footy, mate. Ken's lost me. He's lost me.
He's lost everyone. He's lost himself. Vane Stakes last week. Walt, seen anything like it? B. Millum rolls off fence. He's copped 8 meetings, but more to come. Bigger inquiry.
Yeah, I did a video that I got quite excited about because it was just too good to be true. The old shake and bake, and he just takes him out, and Ricky Bobby rolls up the inside. It was pretty bad visually. Obviously, you add in the tin hat part that it's his wife, and it was well backed.
Going to be fascinating to see how it shakes out, that one.
Yeah, I think we'll leave that one to the stewards, but it was very bad. And even the 7 or 8 meetings that he copped for intentional, or it looked intentional, didn't it, that he was steering it into him, that looked
very unlucky.
Yeah, like if you said 7 or 8 months, it was probably closer to the mark than meetings. But anyway, see how it shakes out.
Yeah, it reminds me of one with Huey a while ago.
Huey steered out from behind the leader, but this one was like
leading and
he wasn't travelling. It wasn't as if he was trying to get to better ground. Like, what was his explanation? What was he actually,
Well, he reckons he walked the track and the fence was up.
Yeah, well, you don't normally just 90-degree turn it, do you? It was
you make a bit of a
and he's not an apprentice
over time.
It's a pretty hard one to defend, but 8 meetings seems light. But we'll see where the rest of it shakes out. I'm sure it was. So like I did a bit of a funny video, only joking around with it, but it. Most of the people that reached out to me were in the industry and were pretty amazed by it as well. So, yeah, more to come.
The world was on Captain Fury, and James Macdonald reverse parked it and said not today. So that was another tricky one. Last week we had 3 winners. We had Pop Award, War Eternal, and Lottie Jane for Bagman. Bagman's sets have been on fire at the moment. Every horse has either won or run second or traded $1.10 or $1.05 and just got nutted. So I love his little model. It's working. He loves finding the map horse, so can't wait for that one. Black Caviar. We've lost Black Caviar. Yeah, which is a bit nasty, but that's the best thing about breeding. The bloodlines continue, so condolences to all of those supporters and followers of Black Caviar. And condolences about Warwick Farm. You had a hosted pot yesterday. Warwick Farm track was absolutely destroyed, and just a stark reminder that we still need Rose Hill because Warwick Farm was a swamp.
Oh, they're all just, as soon as the rain comes during the meeting, it's just game over, isn't it? But it's just like, you get this horse getting beaten 100 metres. That one poor horse, Cark, that I saw, I didn't even realise. That's how bad the racing, because they were getting beaten so far, you didn't realise one sort of knuckled over and went through the fence. That's how bad the meeting was. But yeah, at least they got through it, I guess. I don't know. What can you do? It's no one's fault at this point, is it? It's just absolutely real. I think they were within 20 mils of the wettest first 8 months of ever in Sydney, and I think they'll surpass that this week. So, yeah, it's just completely insane. I don't know what they're going to do over the next 48 hours. It's going to be pretty interesting, but it's going to have a big effect on the spring, up and down the coast.
Yeah, it's a tricky segment this week. We're only calling the Randwick preview the trial show. It's that confusing. Cairns could be Cairns to the rescue. It was sort of Cairns to the rescue last week for me, but they were in the Cup and a couple of roughies late, and actually saw them really well up at Cairns. But gee, I couldn't buy a winner around the grounds, and it was just tricky betting up in Queensland especially, and all over the shop. We were sort of on the wrong leg early, but sort of back my way out of a bit of a corner and too darn hot. I'm still confused.
I still think it won.
Yeah, how it got beat, but it was good to salvage something. But I think I found my new happy place with Cairns, and they're on again this Saturday. So I'll try and send out a bit of a Cairns set. I think I've got the joint
same riders up there, or are they back to the? I guess they are. They're there for the couple of weeks, aren't they?
Yeah, so pretty excited for Cairns this Saturday. And Walt's also hosting a pot this Saturday at Ladbrokes. So RWatch25 is the code in the Mates Mode group. So make sure you check that out. I think between Walt and myself, we've got... feels like dozens upon dozens of hosted pots. So
yeah, it's just a bit. Yeah, we get into a rhythm now. It was interesting. Yeah, yesterday wasn't fun for me just because it wasn't an ideal situation of a guessing game at Warwick Farm, whatever. But we'll get into the rhythm. We'll be right.
Pretty tricky when you got Ipswich and Strathalbyn as the support card.
Strathalbyn and 20 horse fields at Sandown, where I think about a head was the biggest margin of the day. But that's all right. Is what it is.
Sandown Quaddy saved some face. Today's show is going to be a beauty, so we'll super sub in GK for Nico. Nico's away. He's probably on wedding planning duties, I would have thought. And then we're going to have a look at Eagle Farm. I'll help him with that. But we're going to have a look at 3 races at Moonee Valley. Walt's going to cover Randwick and Sugar Shane. We're going to kick you off with Morphettville Parks. And there's a really interesting runner in Splashback late. But let's start to get to your early races. You are you're a new ball man. You like to open the batting early, and the first one is race 1, as you tend to do, and it's a 1,250 metre race. It's the Hahn Handicap. It's a benchmark 66, and you've found an absolute cracker. It's dual nominated Bakash, but dropping well back in class here. $1.80 for Celine. Kalmana $6, King Ramses is $8.50, More Than Hope $7.50, Laws was $4.50, out of market order. I'm Saddlecloth order here, and then Sassy Sophie $41. Got the training wheels on, but Cash here in the red and white OSL Escher. This is not benchmark 66 at the Parks track for the horse outside lead here, Bagman.
No, it's certainly not. I mean, it's got beaten a fair way by Escher, but they all did. Escher's obviously group class. This is not a group class race by any stretch of the imagination. And I thought the way it's going to map too is just perfect for the Parks. He'll be up on pace, up fence. This is the positions you want to be on the Parks track. I thought $1.80, the $1.85 that's quoted around the place is really, really good value. I had it marked 2-1 on. So it is nominated there at the Valley. I think if we do start in Adelaide, we'll be kicking off like we did last week with Lottie Jane with a race 1 winner there. But no prizes for finding them at that price. But I think, you can confidently roll that into multis and other bets through the day. So we'll start off on a winning note with the cash in race 1.
Much better suited back to 1,250. I think that horse too. It was back to 1,000. It wasn't at the Valley.
It was. Yeah, I think they probably got a bit charged up on pace there and tired a little bit late. The run before at Flemington up the straight was excellent, and it did run second, but they put on about 5 lengths back to third. And this last 2 runs, the races have rated a lot higher than what it's going to have to do on Saturday. So I think even if it puts in a below par performance, it can still get the job done against that lot.
Yeah, outstanding stuff. And it's going to be a drier track. And I've just noticed Morphettville Parks, is the wetter it is, the fairer it is, and then the drier it is, the more up and on.
Definitely, as a rule of thumb, I would say yes, especially through those summer months where we don't get a lot of rain here in South Australia, and it turns into a real monorail. You want to be on fence, on pace, but that rain does even it up. They tend to fan quite a lot in the straight. In saying that, like the Parks model is you don't want to be back and wide. The sweep, it's quite a sweeping bend, and if you're in that position, it's almost lights out, unfortunately. So if you're going to be a back mark, you probably have to go back to the fence and just ride for luck and hopefully just weave a passage through. But betting on the Parks, I'd want on pace, on fence is the spot to be 9 times out of 10 at this venue.
Yeah, outstanding stuff. Okay, Bakash $1.80 looks like a good way to start at Adelaide. Let's have a look at Morphettville Race 7. It's a Sky City Handicap, benchmark 64. It's $15.50, and Flowerdale's a favourite here. Celine again, she's got a big day ahead. $4.60 favourite, Wine Baron $5, Placo $7.50, The Mansman $7.50, Thermodynamic $8, Willoughby Factor $11, Headphones $13. Here's Wine Baron in the white with the blue star in the Hickmont colours. Todd Panel's got the ride, and here it is 2 starts ago at Gawler, dominating.
Yeah, this is the run we can go off, I think, for Wine Baron. last start was about a heavy 58 at Morphettville. Silent Emmy got the win. It was up to 2,000 that day. I think it just all got too much and got very tired late with that step up. Back to this trip, back to this grade. Again, maps to be forward in the run on fence, which I've said before is a key position for Wine Baron. If it repeats that Gawler run, I really can't see how it loses. The former in the race isn't strong. Todd Panel is stuck with the ride and is a good combination with Michael Hickmon as well. So I think that $5 represents a really good each way bet. I can't see it not running a drum at least. And it will be the cash all up into Wine Baron, all up into the bar after the last in race 9.
What do you think about the Victorian visitor, Flowerdale, with Serene, obviously favourite, coming off a Sandown run and a couple of heavy track performances?
Oh, look, definitely in the race with a chance. I would not be potting it. The question mark for me, and a little bit like that in the main race too, is horses at the parks. It's a unique sort of venue. It's a bit like our little Moonee Valley. Horses can come undone here, and if you're going to jump in without a sort of proven form at the track or a massive class drop, etc., you are betting with a massive risk. I'm much more confident taking an interstate visitor on the outer track. That inner track does play up some funny buggers, and positioning in run is very pivotal. And we've seen a lot of talented horses come here and not perform up to expectation. But in saying that, Flowerdale's a horse on the up, and there's a lot of horses here who have probably reached their mark.
Yeah, I think stepping back in distance in the drying track is massively in this horse's favour, and yeah, it can put in a bit of a skew-if run, but they went super, super quick last time on that heavy 2,000-metre run, so I can see what you're seeing here. Nothing from Walt, so let's keep pushing on, and this is probably going to be a race that's probably the most talked about, I guess, from the Eastern Raiders. It's the Leon Macdonald Stakes. It's a 1,400-metre listed event, and Splashback is a favourite here. And the interesting part, I think it was posted sort of $2.30, $2.40 amongst the bookies collective, and Ladbrokes, which we like, are just been express out. They've been chasing this horse. They've got a heavy set against this horse. They've been top odds since markets opened, and they are dropping the hammer big time here. $3.40 now. Splashback running by $5. Dubai Poet $7.50. Lingani $7.50. Cafe Millennium $8. Great Maximus $9. Tipper $19, and then you got Maricourt $19. Catelli
or something?
Catelli. Is $21, and then much better the rest. Nico was all about this favourite Splashback, and there was some queries, not only from Nico, but GK privately in his Discord chat. I know he hated the setup of Splashback, and it's in the Jerry Ryan colours. They snagged it early. It's got the green sleeves and the green hat with the white and the purple, the widest, and King of Russo was a bet that I know GK pressed and many people found, and I was actually surprised. Early in the picture, she was miles back off them, and it was pretty clear early that she was only having a look around, and this looks like her grand final and target race. When I started to dig into this bagman, despite barrier 8, and I assume that the thought behind Ladbrokes pricing is that she's going to be well back, but I don't think this is necessarily going to have to be the case for Jordan Childs. I look deeper into her form, and I think she can slot in sort of somewhere midfield, and it's just a different kettle of fish now, back up to 1,400 metres. If she gets a card in or can find a back, I couldn't talk anyone out of backing this horse at $3.40. I'd have her closer to $2.50, or could even mark her closer to evens if there's enough pressure and she does get that card in. But it's a little bit similar for mine with Too Darn Hot. Really wanted him to take the initiative, Declan Bates. And this is sort of what I want from Jordan Childs. You're going to be really unlucky, or it's going to be hers for the sort of taking if they're positive enough. What did you think?
Yeah, I think if they go back from the draw, you'd probably want about $5, I reckon, from there. But it has to be positive out the gates and ride for luck and try and slot in. If it can do that, I think you're shopping at a really good price around that $3 mark. Interesting to note that when markets went up, they got into Dubai Poet from the Hickmont yard, which is probably your leader, and Lagani, number 11, who has excellent record at the Parks circuit. 2 factors, obviously on pace and format track, is a big tick for the Parks, and the models have all latched onto those early. They were double figures into single figures. Splashback, though, does bring those high ratings. and has the class edge, let's face it, on this field. But it's just going to a little bit sticky, and Jordan Charles is going to have to ride a nice one to get this home. If it finds a little bit of trouble early, I think it could be curtains. So, look, I think it will probably start around that $3 mark, I'd say, and I think it probably represents a pretty good bet at that price. So I can see why the markets did take it on there early.
Yeah, I got a pretty good. I think Lingarni's more of 1,000, 1,100 metre horse tops. Dubai Poet, I don't think it's going anywhere near as good as it was earlier, and probably when it first joined the Heatchote yard. So, yeah, I sort of can see the angle there, but I thought the Sydney horse, if Heatchote's got that flying, Cathell or Catelli, I thought that was the knockout runner at $21, who I'll probably save on, but I'll be very keen to watch this market. And I think you've made a good point there. If it's going to get out to sort of $4 and $5, they're signalling intent that they're going to ride it dead as. And yeah, I agree with what you're saying. The other horse that looks like it's improved a lot is Maricourt, to my eye. He's a real wild card runner as well, but not sure if you've glanced at this one or have any ideas about splashback or thoughts.
This is much better, right? It's just all, if you can run on it, it'll go very close. I actually think Cafe Millennium's really dangerous too, back to 1,400. I've always thought it was
short
1,400 metre horse, inside draw, really important, just has to, be ridden for luck if it gets it. It's obviously 21 starts, 2 wins, it's a bit of a punish, but at least you're getting sort of $9 or $10. It's definitely going well enough to trouble these sorts of horses, I would think. In splashback were the two that stood out to me. You can tell he's a good horse. It's but it drawn 12 too, so a bit of a worry if they just having a look around there too, a bit of intent, but 25 to 1 at least, you don't want to be losing on the race if it wins. Yeah,
it's off 200 days, so just not sure if there's bigger fish to fry for that horse, but I think Bagman sort of helped us out with Cafe Millennium. It might be that weaving, coiled spring run, and he's got a bit of tenacity too, Cafe Millennium. I nickname him the Draft, but he doesn't mind going in between horses, does he?
No, you don't want to be back and wide and circling with a horse like him around there, I don't think. I think he needs to be pinching out and driving you mad late, which is his go.
Have we inspired you enough for this Adelaide segment to start launching into the park track?
What I witnessed yesterday at Adelaide, just class-wise, I'm very surprised to see these sorts of names heading across the border. I'm very excited.
It's beautiful.
Very excited.
SA Racing's back.
We're on the up. Well, get on the train. There's seats available. It'll be full soon.
Bakash, I thought it must have been a maiden. I always brass the first as a maiden, and Bakash is running around in it.
Expecting a delivery of these little soy sauce, little fish containers, so I can stockpile them before the ban.
What a travesty! What a travesty that is! Don't get me started, Scoot. That's the raging over here. Between that and Isaac Rankin, this state is in meltdown at the moment.
Not allowed to enjoy.
Still doesn't get any Slurpees having a paper straw, mate. Slurpees having a paper straw is the worst, the most un-Australian thing that has ever happened.
Oh yeah, the old paper straw's no good on the poppers. Where if you got a young child, it's
you got
no
to have about 4 of them to get through a kid's little 200ml popper.
Bagman, outstanding. Good to see you. You're the FIFO worker of the team, but your results are through the roof. So hopefully we get you again soon, and good luck settling things down in Adelaide. It's a bit hot there in the kitchen.
It is. Thank you, Scoot. Yes, we've had some good luck early, and hopefully that continues on the weekend. Good punting to everybody. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Bagman. And GK, straight off the bench, we'll get you the out of the vest. How are you, GK?
Going well. It's nice that we've evaded the worst of the rain. A little bit to come the next day or so, but at least it's not Sydney. So pretty good meeting at Eagle Farm this weekend. Let's get
to El Savio. I'll get you warmed up first. Give you a nice little rub down here with Moonee Valley, a little +5 advantage leaders to get you nice and juicy for the Eagle Farm card. But showing versatility, obviously it's usually Nico. Nico will be out there with his yard package. So if you're keen on that, make sure you join. But he does moonlight, and you've been warming up for the last couple of weeks at Melbourne Spring GK, and you reckon you found a couple in race 3 that you want to sink your teeth into, and it's the Manhari Handicap over 15.23, and Crossbow's the favourite here. Sydney Cider, $3, Eggs at $3.10, Godfred Kirk, the Lego horse, $4.40, Sabi Storm, $7, Ornos, $13, Bingy, $14, and Sisan is $23. A couple of tongue twisters there for me. Love them. Crossbow is the first one, the favourite we're going to have a look at here in the Star Purple with the white stars. And this is a day at Flemington GK, and The extra 100 metres here looks delish for this horse.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the thing is that, excuse me, that Exit went up almost half the price of Crossbow. So that was the first thing that I noticed. And I just couldn't understand why Exit had gone up favourite initially. And I don't see anything from that run, or at least what I'm looking at, which suggests that Exit is necessarily going to turn the tables on Crossbow here.
Mate, 3 kilos, mate. That's
my God.
That's a huge shit's huge.
Wow. And, like Crossbow should have won the start before in Sydney as well, like obviously, right? So, look, I think for me, Crossbow is definitely the starting point. Small field, it could be a little bit tactical, but no reason for me to get off Crossbow off that last performance. So that's certainly one of the 2 runners I'm interested in the race. And then there's this other Freedman horse, Godfrey Kirk, which won this midweek race.
Yeah, it's in the blue with the red sleeves with the white cap right down the outside. It was pretty dominant stuff.
Yeah, I think so. And, just looks a beast, doesn't it? Like it's just one of these Ole Kirks that looks to come on significantly as it, gets into its 3-year-old season. It looks like this trip's going to work really well for it. Looks a really nice type, looks a really progressive horse. So, look, for me, they were the 2, and I'm definitely keen to attack Exit. So, just depending on prices, I'll work out a way that I either potentially save on Godfrey Kirk and win on Crossbow, or if I can get a bracket in some sort of sense, I'll probably do that. But taking on Exit.
And when GK references bracket, he means backing 2 horses. So he's backing 2 to effectively lay Exit, if you're new to that terminology. Walt, Crossbow, Sydney horse, what do you make of it?
Well, it's just a progressive horse. It looks like it's just, the typical Wallace second prep. I love that it just sort of goes through its gears. 1,500 looks, as I said, sort of looks like it's going to suit it. It's got the map advantage, you would say, over Godfrey Kirk. I don't think it can hold the front, so it should, if it just holds one off, one back, you'd think that's probably ideal. And the leaders, even with the advantage, look a little bit vulnerable, so it just looked too good to be tried. I was the same. I was like, why is this horse $4? In comparison to Exit, who dead set looks a 1,200 metre horse to me, like let go with a big sprint first up, but that was off a really slow tempo, then certainly looked, got a bit drunk down the straight and maybe better around a bend, but it looks like it wants to come back in distance, not up. And I was in complete agreement with GK here, and I was the only concern for Godfrey was the inside draw. So I think if it can run down Crossbow, who should have the slingshot, it'll be a good effort.
Yeah, I couldn't back Exit with free money, so I think that is definitely the weakness in the market, and happy to put the pen in it. And my only concern with betting into that race early doors was maybe they'll scratch it, but yeah, their placement's just got me absolutely staggered. I'll be strides off and on the way to Yatla if Exit gets the chockies there. Moonee Valley Race 5 is the Mick Gleeson plate over 1,200 metres, and Aleppo Pines come up favourite, $4.20. Stremo $5.50. Regal Award is $5.50. Bakash, hopefully it's in Adelaide as per early in the show. And then we've got Oyster Lane $7.50. Space Rider had a little stint up in Brizzy, $8, and you got Vega for luck. 2 horses we're going to have a look at here. The market mover is Regal Award in the orange, sort of just looping the field here. And Green Spaces is the Godolphin horse, and that's, I guess, the reference point, because that horse went up to, I think it was Hawkesbury or Wyong, and started a short price around Hidden Achievement, who also went up to the Brisbane Carnival. But, wow, once he sort of balances up there, he really hits the line nicely, Regal Award, GK.
Yeah, he does. And at least when I went back through that meeting, it seemed like it was also hard to make ground. So I think there's a fair bit of merit in that performance. And then the recent jump out was very good. I thought, they went really quick in the jump out, and they really gave it a shake up. They wanted to make it hit the line, and it did, and it extended really well. So look, I think this is one that seems like it has a bit of ability, and I think if you compare to where potentially Aleppo Pine's going to be in the run, I think it could be a little bit sticky for Aleppo Pine on the map. So, I think Regal Award's probably going to have a map advantage on Aleppo Pine. So that's one of the 2 runners I'm interested in, and then the other one is the Sydney horse again. It's Estremo, who One at Canterbury. Look, not sure about the depth of this race, but they went pretty quick here, and I don't love that it sort of lays out, but I do think this horse has something. I think it has a little bit of ability, and it's going to be rock hard fit here. Again, it's going to have to sit off them and probably try to loop, but look, I think given the setups here, I'm pretty happy to be with the Streamo and Regal Award and play them two against Aleppo Pine.
Well, what are your thoughts? Maybe the Sydney horse first and what you've just seen.
Yeah, it's a tongue twice, and we backed it on debut when it had a barrier trial, and then he ran it at 65, and it rounded him up, and that wasn't a bad race, and the maiden that it got beat in has turned out to be pretty strong too. So I agree, the horse has got X factor, but yeah, I'd be really concerned laying out in Sydney, laying in, trying to off the bend at the Valley, it could end up sort of ducking him behind. Yeah, I'd be worried about that. So obviously, Bakash is in this race too. And if it comes out, there's not much tempo, I don't think, which could change things. Sort of Space Rider will probably try and kick up. Its trials weren't great and may sort of leave a gap even for Aleppo Pine to go forward. Yeah, I think it's just a bit tricky for me, that one. I'll still get the splinters on the backside on this race.
Yeah, I sort of like what I saw with the Stremo, and I really like what I saw with Regal Award. I just didn't know where Aleppo Pine is going, and I just he's a funny horse, this Aleppo Pine. Does he have sort of underlying issues, spaced runs? I just sort of need to see it, but good judges that I know think that the Blue Point's sort of a better sort of cuddled and over time, so he might come back an even better horse this time in, and just a small field and a few queries was enough for me to sort of sit on the fence. But I'm fascinated to see who comes through this race and who sort of puts their hand up and becomes a good horse, because I think they're someone's going to do it, and I really like the debut of the Regal Award, and the market's all over him, and the P Stokes yard's absolutely flying. They had that good little filly win last Saturday for Rivia or whatever it was, and wow, it looks like it's got plenty of talent. It's a horse that I'd be definitely following, and yeah, he's starting to place his horses exceptionally well at the moment, P Stokes, and absolutely flying. So big red alert, this horse going in the deep end there. Moonee Valley Race 7 is the next. It's a feature. It's a listed Carlyon Stakes over 1,000 metres, and Oak Hill's the favourite here, $2.60. Barraquil, $5 off a massive layoff. Golden Boom, $6.50. New York Luster, $6.50. Mornington Glory, $8. Midwest, $9. Tiger Shark, $20. And Don't Hope Do is rounding out the market at $27. Let's have a look at the pipe opener race, GK, and this is over 1,000 metres. I went pretty slow. Mornington Glory, outside leader. Tiger Shark unusually didn't go forward, and Oak Hill rounds them up.
Look, I had a small bet on Tiger Shark in this race, and they just rode this thing completely wrong. It's not a sit and sprint horse. It's a high cruising speed horse. Hopefully they learned their lesson. I think if they rode it as they should have, it run second in this race. I just thought Oak Hill was in the right spot and it got the right run. Like it was a nice enough win, but I'm not completely sold on that necessarily. Mornington Glory, there was really strong mail around that it wasn't ready. And then, we've seen in the last few days that Bedgegood has come out and effectively, admitted that. So I think I need to see something from Mornington Glory just off that. Oak Hill seems too short to me. I think Tiger Shark is a ridiculous price. I could entertain having something, maybe a place bet on Tiger Shark. Barraquil, 1,000 metres barrier 1, no. So then, you're looking for different form. Where do you go? I think you've got to go to Golden Boom, don't you? Because Golden Boom's going to get outside lead here, has trialled really well. So, look, it's a bit of a sticky race in some ways, but, they're going to go hell for leather here. And I just think Midwest leads, Golden Boom gets OSL, Tiger Shark probably grabs Golden Boom's back. It's what I probably think is going to happen in terms of the map. And yeah, who's going to be in the right spot? Like, I think it's probably Golden Boom and maybe Tiger Shark, but it's a race that I'd probably only want to bet small in, and maybe I'd probably play it something like small win bet Golden Boom and maybe a place bet on Tiger Shark.
Yeah, I was happy to take on Oak Hill. Like, I like him as a type, but I think this is going to be a different scenario. And you've highlighted the horse I like, Golden Boom. I think the only way that Golden Boom is things go wrong for it is if Maloney goes too slow, and I think we're going to see a repeat of sort of that Gold Coast run. I think he's just a better hammer down horse, and 12 or 18 months ago, I thought the horse was sort of half gone, Golden Boom, but Tony Golden's revived him. I thought the trial was good, and the faster they go, the better for this horse. And I think he gets a couple of kilo weight swing off Mornington Glory, and I just think that lead up, that slow lead up, is probably not the ideal scenario. And the other horse that I thought would maybe be a $10 chance was New York Luster. I thought Carlyon might accidentally just flop it out the back, and it's genuine talent, but the jockey booking, whether Enver's just being a little bit too loyal there, I'm not quite sure. But I think the syndicates will have to take New York Luster on. I think it'll have to go back, and that was the other dangerous horse. But $6.50, wow, it's super short. So yeah, I took $8.50 Golden Boom, and I think it'll just keep going off. Well,
I love 1,000-metre races, and this looks impossible. So I'm staying out.
Are you gonna?
Well, with the rail out, it's just so tactical. It's just, you've got Midwest there is very fast if it wants to be. The Tiger Shark obviously is, and so is Golden Boom. So they could go 1,000 miles an hour. They could let something trot to the front. It's 9-metre rails at the Valley, and when tactics are, it's the double. It's the double.
It's very stinky though. Maloney going down GK, like he's not going down for a haircut.
But his horses don't travel that well. I know that. One did. One horse goes all right there when it wants to, but he's not the same beast away from home. T. Golden.
Uncle Tony.
It's just the quality. What horses is he taking away? I think they're still working out the right horses to take away. And I think that the reality is that they just don't have the cattle to compete against the top liners, right?
Mm.
So, I think they've got better at it, and I think that they've worked out when's the time to go. And, they've worked out with horses like Golden Boom that, they want to go early in the carnival to pick off these sort of, listed Group 3 type races. So, this is definitely the level for Golden Boom. It's a very icky race in general, I think.
It's definitely a race that, you don't want to pin your day around. Yeah, there's plenty of other opportunities, so go lightly and, bet with a medium level of confidence into the race, I would say. All right, Nico's going to be doing yard duty, so head to Nico's Yard on Twitter if you want some of his insights. But GK, you can have a breather. I'm still going to ask for your opinion, but if the Sydney races have been called off, please fast forward and jump on the timestamps below the video and skip past this whole segment because we're going to waste your time if they're called off. But let's get our teeth into the Silver Shadow, the Toy Show, and the Winx Group 1. Waltz, obviously it's going to be heavy 10, heavy 15, heavy 20. There's going to be rain through the day.
It'll be a miracle if they race. So it'll be bottomless. Let's just put it that way. And and there is rain predicted during the day, which is the worst part, to be fair.
And you want to be off fence?
Yeah, well, it usually actually when it gets this ridiculous, it doesn't really matter. It's pretty uniform because it's just ridiculous. So it's either you get through it or you don't, or your fitness levels aren't up to it or they're not. So as you said, there'll be margins that'll be astronomical. So it's tricky for sure. But I don't know what their other option is. As in, I don't know where they can. It's going to close down Sunday.
Mm.
So do they move it to Wednesday? I don't think they really can. Monday or Tuesday is probably not really an option. Could they move it to the all-weather track? Oh, they don't have one. There's like Newcastle. Everywhere's beaten up. So it's no one's fault. I don't know what's going to happen.
They need a roof.
Pretty much.
They need a roof on
Pretty
it.
much. And that'll do. Let me not dig a bigger hole for myself.
Silver Shadow, race 6. It's Agar Wood, the favourite, $2.70. Tim Clark, Gay Waterhouse, Within the Law, $4.20. Savvy Haley, $4.20. Memo, $9.50. Queen of Clubs, $11. Wooten Lass, $23. And much, much better the rest. Agar Wood. Here is his last start win in the yellow and orange, and this was dominant. It was a heavy 9. Doesn't look like it compared to the heavies that we're sort of copping at the moment, but looks like a classy galloper, this thing.
You'd pray for something that looks like that service on Sunday. And he just skips. He's a natural speed horse. 2 starts, 2 wins, put away, and come back with 2 trials where he's shown really nice natural speed. Everything you want to see from Gay stables. No warning signs that he hasn't come on, hasn't come up. he looks ready to go. So this is his second trial with the great Winona Costin aboard down at Goulburn. Mustn't have been able to. We're just making sure probably they got a trial in on a decent surface. So he's ready to go early in his prep, and you can see like, no real pressure. This is nothing too exciting, but everything you want to see, you are seeing. So, and Gay's horse is obviously more naturally forward in their preps, and you want to be, considering this horse debuted at 1,000, went to 1,201, and now it is first up 1,200 on a heavy 27. So, yeah, I think it'll be ready to go. But
and Savvy Haley, I put it down. I think I've done the notes as trial.
Well, it basically was.
Oh,
right?
it's not a trial. It's a race. It's a 900-metre super maiden.
It was silly. It was silly. It was actually, that's what they've done. They've just put it in a super maiden for a trial, which is, smart in hindsight. And
easy money.
Nearly got to even money. But
wow.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this horse is she's obviously very fast. We chased her a bit last prep and never got a result out of her, but she ran really positive races. In this one, that might end up being the masterstroke. And thinking she's jumping from 9 to 12 naturally isn't a great thing on heavy, but she go back into a form for second to Nepotism, looks pretty good over 1,400, and Agar Wood's never even been past 1,200. So you'd have to. I can see why all the money has been for Savvy Halley so far, and I think it'll probably start favourite. Arguably, it's just too obvious not to. That 1,400 metre form obviously handles the wet, natural free running horse that should get on speed. Sleepy J's got no real way you can stop this horse going forward, I don't think. So, I was probably Team Agar Wood, nearly thinking they'd sort of it'd be too tough, but probably the wetter it gets, the more I think Savvy Halley's probably deserved favourite. Yeah, deserved favourite. There's a couple of interesting horses. Queen of Clubs surprised with Andrew Calder last start. Went pretty well first up and then won and then put away. It's only had one trial, but just a smelly horse. It looks like it's got a bit of something and handles the going. And there's a 40-1 shot in there. I thought it was worth keeping your eye on. Changed my address. I thought it trialled okay and was a knockout at odds just because I think it'll get through the surface and it's 30 or 40-1. But I think Savvy Halley's the right horse. Within the Law's the other one in the betting, but I get very concerned about these horses that have had really long, hard preps like it did and first up off one trial. I just think maybe I wouldn't be surprised if they scratched. And Bjorn's not a big scratcher, but I wouldn't be surprised if they scratched it.
Yeah, I'll probably lean the other way. I think I really like Agar Wood as a horse, and I think he overcame a little bit of trouble. Something happened on that debut run. I thought, wow, who is this horse? And it was easy money the second time around, and really, it's never easy to go 1,000 metres up to 1,200, as you sort of already alluded to. But I think he's got a bit of X factor, this Agar Wood, and I'm still a bit of a jury out on Savvy Haley. GK?
Pretty similar. I think I'd probably lean Agar Wood, but I'd say it's a no bet race for me. I'm really interested in a couple of these. Like I even look at Memo, for example, where I haven't given up on Memo. I think there is something with that thing. It just had some terrible luck in some races last prep, and things didn't go its way. I do think it still has ability. So it's a race of a lot of interest for me if we get the race to actually run. So look, probably lean Agar Wood, but no bet. Just interested in a number of runners here.
Yeah, outstanding. All right, we'll push on because they're very, very concerned that they're going to be called off anyway. The next is the Toy Show.
We'll be having the same conversation about the same race in 7 days, probably. Be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Autumn Glow's the favourite here in the Toy Show. $1.90. J-Mac, Manal $6. Cigar Flick $8.50. $10 Amina. Gangster Granny $11. Bonita Queen $14, and you got More Territory $16. Shohisha $26, and much better the rest. First trial we're going to have a look at is Autumn Glow out the back in the Masara, gold and black checks. What do you think of this work? Obviously, she's the big boom horse, isn't she?
Just desperate to see it drop poorly. Just hit a flat spot. Do something, love. Just give us a gap where we can just say, all right, we're just going to unload around you. And unfortunately, you don't get that. It just camps out the back, comes to the outside and goes through its gears. It's just a nightmare of a horse, isn't it? Like they ride it forward, it finds the line. They ride it back, it finds the line. It seems to have a lot of little niggling issues that it overcomes. And if it's had a prep this time where it's leading into this and everything's gone right, we've not seen the bottom of this horse. So she's a complete nightmare to bet against. And $1.90, she's not that exciting.
In the green with the white sash, second from the outside is Manal, and Lazura is in behind her as well, to add some sort of context. Snow in May is there also, but nice bit of work, this Manal.
Yeah, and this is 2 trials in a horse that's got sort of mile form. She's firmed up a bit, but she was the one that stood out to me as in the horse that profiles really well, loves the wet ground or handles the wet ground quite well, drawn perfectly to have options to do whatever they want to do on it. I think Collett's on it, isn't he? He's obviously a pretty handy wet track rider too. So I think she's been a little bit, the speculation's already popped in there and the $8-9 is gone, which is a bit of a shame because I thought sort of if you wanted to find a horse that's each way, she to me looks completely bomb-proof. There's obviously other horses in this race that can improve, but I just love having, that adaptability, 1,200-1,400 mile form on this sort of surface. With she's got gate speed if you want to use it. She's just an ideal horse to be the one to upset the apple cart if Autumn Glow, doesn't handle the conditions or whatever. There are a few queries about it Saturday. There's other interesting horses. Garflick's Hard Fit comes off a similar surface where she ran, I think, a career peak last start. Gangster Granny's a horse that keeps improving, but she's obviously, this is another level. She's horrifically weighted, so if she wins this, she might be a Group 1 horse. More Territories trial well enough, I thought, to be dangerous. There's interesting horses. Amina's dangerous, so yeah, it's a great race. But I think if I had to have a bet, I'm backing Manal each way and hoping Autumn Glow has an off day.
Yeah, I can't add any more. I echo all those thoughts. GK, anything?
No, another watch race for me. Super interesting race moving forward for the rest of the carnival, but definitely no betting.
Let's head to the Winx Stakes, 1,400 metre Group 1. Via Sistina, $2.45. Gringotts, $5.50. Fangirl, $6.50. Aliana, $7.50. Cho Wolf, $11. Robusto, $16. Light Infantryman, $21. War Eternal, $26. Arapaho, $27. $31. Lindemann. Full Count Felicia, $51. And Diamond Diesel, $101. Let's have a look at the Via Sistina trial. How do you think the old girl's going, Walt? There's a lot of commentary saying she'll only be ready for the Cox Plate, blah, blah, blah. Looks to be going good here.
Mate, just horses don't run on paper. They don't know how they are. Like, look at you at golf, mate. You're just starting to hit your peak at bloody 75 years of age. So, yeah, I hate all that stuff. But anyway, she's moving freely. She's doing everything you want to see. She's always vulnerable, fresh in her preps. The Fangirl steam's up behind there, and, they didn't really do much there, but she looks like she's returned well. So is Fangirl.
Let's have a look at Cho Wolf trial for Joey Pride. So there's Private Eye.
He keeps saying this is the best horse he's ever trained, and as much as Joe Pride's a complete nutter lunatic, obviously, and he's going to bash Davo and then donate the money to Children's Hospital. Obviously he sees something in this horse that I'm not saying I don't, but I think he's had better horses. So there's obviously more to this horse than we've seen, and he's obviously, he's showing a lot. And that trial's okay. Like Our Gold Hopes probably should have gone close last week. Private Eye went down to Melbourne and won. He's moved well there, but he's never. I don't know. He's not one of mine. I just don't see him as a top level weight for age sort of Cox Plate horse, but Joe does. So maybe wet's okay for him. He tried well.
Yeah, I think he's sort of mile tops. I just don't think he runs 2,000 metres. I think he's a bit more brilliant, and I've always loved Cho Wolf. If he's ready to roll, I could see him upsetting this field as well. He's bred to absolutely swim and duck through this if they go ahead. Fangirl doesn't get through the wet. And then I'm just not sure that Gringotts has got the class. Aliana's on type. Looks like it'll go through the
She's
wet track.
The horse, isn't she? Like she's the one that could be the changing of the guard horse, isn't she? Like that I kept watching the last 200 of that Derby win. I just love horses like change leg and just keep building, and it's like, wow, Jesus. If she can do that over 1,400 a year, she's trial well. She's the wild card. She's the only horse I could back, to be honest. I think the funny part is here, GK's gone through to the keeper. If he comes out here and goes unloading, I'm going to laugh because this is the hardest race I've ever seen. And it's just barrier trial central. You've got Bjorn's 2 horses, Robusto and War Eternal, that'll be in there punching. Diamond Diesel is absolutely airborne. I think it's about a 9-year-old. I don't know what the heck it's doing in this race, but it won't run last. I hope it runs a race. I'd love to see Diamond Diesel win a Group 1. It'd be the funniest thing in the history of the world, and I'd be so happy for Adam Duggan and the crew. But it wouldn't surprise me in this race because they've got to run because they've got to kick off, but none of them are really going to care about the result. And we're talking about a Group 1.
Should be a Group 2. GK, what are you going to do? Unload?
Absolutely unloading. No.
Here we go.
Absolutely not. Look, the two that I was kind of interested in was Aliana and Charwolf. Look, I just think they're the two that might produce here first up. But it's like, how do you get excited about this as well? Like, is there any tempo in this race at all? Like,
well, they're all drawn wide, aren't they? But they're not going to push.
Yeah,
they'll just cruise over and that's it. They'll sit. Yeah,
and then maybe with Aliana, just because they're drawn low, like they sit closer in the run. I don't know. Like, it's just, it's borderline impossible. I'd consider having small bets, Aliana, Charwolf, but that's probably it. But obviously, amazing race if we do get to see it this weekend. But yeah, that's probably it.
This is the race that I'm most excited about, just to see what happens, given they're all underdone.
The betting will be interesting.
It's going to be like slip and slide. I'm most fascinated.
Imagine Aliana's 6-4 and Visastina out to $10
and wins.
Remember, she used to start $10 and $12 in these races. Remember when she won by Acting God for us one time, and then last time she was arguably a good thing. But she's very vulnerable first up. 240 just seems weird. Like, it's got to get out. Yeah, I just, even like Gringotts is one of our horses. How it's second favourite, I can't work out. And yeah, Aliana just, it's the first horse, and then you have to like Charwolf 10-1. And then even Robusto and these horses that are hard fitted, they're 20-1. Like, they're if you're betting, I'm getting sucked into, Aliana, Charwolf, if you like it, Robusto, War Eternal, it's a group. Why is it a Group 1? I know the weather's no one's fault, but why is it a Group 1?
Nothing makes sense in Sydney. All right, that's the end of the Sydney show, and we are a Queensland racing show. It's time to get into Eagle Farm, Rail 7, GK, and the weather's been downgraded massively. It's flogging down here, but maybe only 15 mil. How wet is it up at your joint, or not?
It's drizzling. So I think probably, look, depending on how much we get today, because there's only a little bit of rain sort of Friday, I'd say we'll probably start on maybe 5-6 sort of territory. So it should be fine. Good racing, I'd say. With the rail at 7, maybe just a little bit of an advantage just off. So, I think lanes 1, maybe lanes 1 and 2 probably disadvantage in the straight, but not too bad.
So typical Eagle Farm. Beautiful. All right, the first race we're going to get into is race 4. It's the Durrani Hill 10 years of service, Fillies and Mares benchmark 78. Market courtesy Ladbrokes, without parallel, $2.40. Benjamin Osmond is going up with it. Berezka, $4.20. Gospel Girl, $6. Just Precious, bless her heart, $8.50. Queen of the Mile, $12. African Daisy, $15. Lady Wardell, $21. And then Tranquil Bay, $27. Horse you like here at GK is without parallel, and here it is in Sydney, just stomping up. It was a wet ground that day, but real dominant, and Matt Dunn's got bigger fish to fry with his horse.
Yeah, I think so. Look, before this run in Sydney, I just thought if this thing gets through the ground, it's going to kill them. I didn't know whether it would, but, we've ticked that box now. But I actually thought the start prior was even more impressive because it was 1,000 to 1,200 Eagle Farm. It was against most of these, and they all had a fitness edge on it, and it just ran away from them. And, now we're sticking 1,200. We draw wide. We're just going to cruise across. At worst, we're going to be OSL, but I actually think we can probably just take this up. And I think it's going to be very difficult for some of these to run it down. Berezka has been a little bit unlucky in a few runs, but I think it is a query at 1,200 as well. Like, it has a bit of a short, sharp sprint, and it'll start to loom, but in that last 50 metres, it always plateaus. So, look, drawing low gives it a chance. It will try to get a suck run, but yeah, not sure about the others here as well. I think this was a great bet. They went up 5-2 yesterday. I thought that was an amazing bet. I still think there's a bit of fat in the price.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's the most likely, and it's just got so much back end strength without parallel. Just Precious, I probably would have thought at the wetter it gets, the better for it to sort of turn the tables. But you just saw there, it was bottomless that day, and without parallel, it was like an outboard motor just attached to it. And yeah, I'm with you. Berezka's had a few chances, and it just keeps going up under the odds, which is creating opportunity around it. So bless a little heart. We keep getting results in and around Berezka, and I think it'll continue again without parallel. But yeah, $4 look great price, and I can see why you've snapped it up. Can do it both ends, but there is a lot of speed in this.
$3.50 is a great price. It beat you and me last start. That's the problem. They were legless. The rider could get lost in a phone box. If they don't tell him to lead, he could end up in the snack bar, and that's the problem. But if he puts the foot down and you got $4, you'd struggle to have a better bet on Saturday. So there's a couple of caveats in there, but if all goes to plan, you could. It's gift good. There's nothing. Queen of the Miles really struggling. African Daisies mixing form. There's nothing scary there, is there? Like Just Pressure seems a fair enough price, $8.50. The rest are all pretty weak. So I agree, but just got to probably just kick Goldmate in the backside and tell him to make sure he pushes the button out of the gates. Otherwise, anything could happen.
Wake up, Jeff.
Oh, I'm so happy that he's heading north, but I think he just needs to sort of keep going a bit further.
Cairns.
Maybe north.
Mr. Osmond.
Maybe north of that.
Benny. Oh, gosh. We love our jockeys here. Eagle Farm race number 6 is the next one, and Kibosh is favourite, $5. Battleton being backed $6. I think they're about 15 early. Isaiah $6.50. Galifanaka $7. Christ Aor $7.50. Northern Decree $9. Encoder $9.50. This will be the one at $9.50, and then you got Carrios Louis at $11. Let's have a look at the replay of Northern Decree. It's in the pink with the blue spots and sort of getting to the outside with the blinkers off the back of Galifianakis there, GK. And you think this is the right form?
I think it could be. Look, it was a pretty fast run race here, and I think we're going to get pretty similar here, and good tempo over a mile. You know, that really brings the off-speed horses into play at Eagle Farm in general, and I think this is what's going to happen here. I'm expecting Without Revenge, Uzziah, Kairos Louis, those sort of horses to go forward and to set up a pretty decent tempo. And I think Northern Decree, just with the conditions of this race, it had, I think it was 58 and a half last start. We're dropping all the way down to the minimum, and we get Jones. I think this is a pretty good setup. There are other horses of interest in the race. Battleton interests me. Encoder interests me, so I potentially might back one of those as well. But I think this is a good race to attack Kibosh in, because Kibosh was in that race where, what was it, stablemate called it? Chica Mojito was like even money last start, and Kibosh was just in the right spot and, got a pretty easy win there. But I think this is a completely different kettle of fish here. So want to attack Kibosh. I think Northern Decree is a great chance here with the expected race shape. And then potentially we'll have something on either Encoder and Battleton as well.
Yeah, I sort of agree with what you're saying here, GK. I think I was cranky last week. I half found Battleton and Bjorn Scratch, but I think he's got a better scenario here with the drying track, Walt. But I think I'm going to ask you a question and we're going to probably come up with the same answer. 1,400 metres is great for Battleton. I think it was last week when I found him, but now gets to 1,600.
The only thing better than 14 would be 12. Yeah, I don't think it runs 1,600 off a cliff. And the reason why, I think he's just getting slower too. I think he's nearly cactus old Battleton.
He should be north. He should be Cairns.
Or he should be I think he's done his job. I think he's a fresh 1,400 metre horse.
Okay.
Personally. Rest of the race.
Yeah, Encoder. I thought Encoder did enough first up to be dangerous, so I'm very much aligned with GK's thoughts here. He looks the horse with severe upside, and I think it's a smart claim, but just waiting for Jace McMurray to sort of stamp his authority up here. Like he's just in the wilderness, Jace. Donny's man.
Yeah, he did enough in Sydney early, and I think he lost a bit of confidence. So I wouldn't be surprised if he came back here and got his mojo back, because I think he's good enough. He's a much better prospect than the fella before, and you're not attacking them personally. It's just ability. It is what it is. You can't grow it. Yeah, I agree with you in Coda too. The Kibosh was good. I was surprised they didn't run in the 1800 with Northern Decree. It looks like it's just really one pace, heavily flattered last start by the tempo and just kept whacking. So I was surprised they didn't go up there. Interestingly, I didn't look at the weight drop. Maybe that'll help it. But, and Kibosh was off a slow tempo last start, gets a faster one here. I don't know. I'd be a peanut in Coda.
What happens is, and maybe it's because we've got the same surname, we're not related, but it's probably the wrong race, but by act of God and probably Angela Jones, it'll win, but he should have probably had it in the 1800. Northern Decree. Of course. He always picks the wrong races. He's hopeless.
I think he's also splitting the stablemates because I like the stablemate in the next as well. So
he does get greedy. He tries to win everything. We've said it in the show in the past.
There's no tempo in race 7. So, yeah, that probably explains why I'm on the other thing as well.
All right, let's get to race 7. So Northern Decree and Encoder for GK and I, a bit of value there. And Battleton is the big query or the big hole in the market for a few of us who don't think he's going to run the mile out. Okay, Just Flying's a favourite here, 1835 metres. It's a benchmark 85. It's 160 years for Eagle Farm, which is great. $3.10 Just Flying. Habebe is $4.60. Yet he moves $4.80. Bazarin, 5.50. Kettle Hill, $8. Half Listening, $8.50. Flash R21 and Point Counterpoint, $35. We just saw the replay, but now we're going to have a look at Just Flying again and focus on the inside of the track in the pink and I guess checkered blinkers. Without Revenge is the horse on the fence, but he's Just Flying here and tries to pick itself up here. GK again.
Yeah, and both this race and the race before, there were annoying pests who went out ridiculously fast in both of those races. And, on both occasions, those leaders finished way out the back and Just Flying was still there boxing on. Now we get none of those pests in this race. So it looks like Just Flying gets complete control of this race. And the rest of them are just going to, find their spot and try to run it down. I think this is a great setup off 2 really fast run races here. Complete control. We get Jones. We draw low. Like horses like Habiba. I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on it. Every time they try to go forward in these slowly run races, it never works out. But then when it goes back, it runs on and it has too much work to do. So I think I'm pretty happy to take on Habiba here, even though it's third up. Barazine won that race at Coughs. I don't know. That was sort of one out of the box for me when I look at the rest of its form. Yeti Moves. It won that race 2 starts ago when they went really quick and Just Flying was up on the speed and was vulnerable. Definitely prefer Just Flying over Yeti Moves here. Kettle Hill. Think it's washed, and then what are the rest? So, really happy to be the favourite.
Yeah, I can see your angle, and if Jones gets her way, as she often does up there, surprisingly, sometimes she does look a good starting point, and I think it'll beat Habebe home. I am not convinced that Kettle Hill's wash, but I think he's better placed up at Eagle Farm, and I think he can be strong late if they overdo it. If I had to save mental health, I'd probably back Kettle Hill. Walt, any interest here or let it slide?
Yeah, 160 years before I'd have a bet in that race. I'll cheer on Just Flying.
Too good. All right, I think we've covered a ton of races, stack of races over for the weekend ahead, and fingers crossed Randwick goes ahead, but plenty of good insight there at Eagle Farm and Moonee Valley from UGK.
I just asked the boys if there's a redundancy plan for the Sydney, or is it any sort of, and they're like, no, it'll be Randwick or Randwick. So
I did hear that on the wireless that they're very one-dimensional in their thinking. It's crazy, really.
Well, to be not looking at other options when especially if Kembla or Newcastle are in play, it would be ideal, and even Rose Hill. So
anything, as it's like you can move horses around anywhere. So
it's so pivotal for these horses to get runs, and have the option to run if they want to. Absolutely. Anyway,
well, it's a problem we don't have to solve. Luckily,
we're only punters.
We're Twitter trainers as well.
We're everything. Twitter jockeys.
And Walt's he's a hosted pot man as well. So I think the code is RWatch25.
Hosted pot, yeah.
Hosted pot Saturday.
Yeah, we're in, yeah.
Yeah, this Saturday.
See, what about this one for a twist of fate, right? I often think I live in the Truman Show. Everyone probably does. We talk about this protest yesterday. Upheld, right? So I put the video up.
In Ipswich.
The one in Brisbane.
Yeah.
So Trent Edmonds comes on post. So, mate, I've got one worse than that. So I put up a thing from Dead Set 2006, Chaperon Bay, the horse is called. I put it on YouTube. They jump. Vicky Schubert rides this thing, takes forever to get to the front, leads by 5 lengths, kicks away, wins. And I remember, I was betting with a couple of weeks. We had 4,000 on $6.50. So 3 hours later, I found out it got beat on protest. It was never, and the horse that's run second is 10 lengths away, down the outside, like 10 off the fence, and come from last. Protest upheld interference out of the gates.
Oh, no.
So, I've never got over it, and as you can see with the passion I'm sitting here. But, so I post the video. Next thing you know, Drew Smith, who is Aaron Bullock's manager.
Oh, my God.
And puts his hand up. He was a steward at the time.
What?
He's the one who upheld the protest.
Oh, my God.
And he goes, I'd do it again. I'd do it again every day of the week. What a twist of fate. Isn't it weird? And he's like, mate, how's your memory? And it was Dead Set 2. It was just before EI, 2006. But what are the chances that, and I obviously used to manage Bullock. He was the one who took him over. And he's the bloke who upheld the protest and cost me $25,000 when I had $25 to my name. But anyway, what a game it is.
There's a reason why #Perth stewards and, remember when Billy Bob and the Craig Williams intimidation? Punters do not ever forget. So I'm not surprised. And I didn't really see that one coming.
Chaperon Bay. I rang back. I'm like, you're going to love this. She hates all my stupid stories. But
that is remarkable.
For him to be the bloke who upheld the protest.
Wow.
And, oh, my God, anyway.
I don't know what to think about that. Now I'm going to have to go
and
look at the
video.
replay
It's
as well.
too good.
We're going to tweet
Bay.
it out from our Twitter account. So make sure you head to our Twitter account, Little Birdie TV. Get in the Mates Mode pot. Walt will navigate through a couple of different tracks. I'll con him into a bet in Body Cairns. Yeah. I'm tipping he has a bet in Adelaide, so he'll be around the grounds if the races are called off at Randwick. But big thanks to you, GK. It's good to have you back. It feels like a Brisbane racing show again, which it should be. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. But good luck on the weekend. I hope you find a couple of winners.
Cheers, guys.
All right, we're off. Big thanks to Ladbrokes and Punting Form, and we'll see you next week.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.